This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social. Delighted to be joined by the Jackal, Carl Frampton. We're here in Manchester today ahead of his, well, you've just done your workout ahead of your bout with Josh Warrington. How are you, Carl?
It was okay, yeah. I'm not too bad. Done a little blast out. I'm on my way to the gym to do a proper session now, away from the cameras.
How's training going? We're just 6 weeks away, so it feels like this fight has come around very, very quickly.
Yeah, it has. You know, it's been flying, and that's the sign of a good camp. I think it hasn't been drawn out, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a quality fight. I feel like I'm ready for it, but the hard work sort of picks up from here on. And the next sort of 5 weeks is hard graft. So I feel like right now I am where I need to be. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a good fight.
Now, Josh has told me that he's expecting a tougher fight than against Lee Selby. I'm sure you'd agree with that. Bearing that in mind, where would you rank Josh Warrington compared to the rest of your opponents in your career?
He's a good fighter, but I feel like I've fought and beaten better fighters. Leo Santa Cruz, definitely a better fighter than him, but there's an argument that he lost the fight to Kiko Martinez as well. But he's up there, you know. I'm not. I don't want to sound like I'm being disrespectful, because I'm not. I'm focused on this fight. I'm going to be training very hard from here on in. I have been training very hard, but I'm looking forward to a quality fight, and I think it will be that.
How does it feel to be back in the ring again? This has been one of your most active years as a professional, certainly at world level, and I know it's something that was certainly displeasing to you last year. It must feel good to be back in the ring being so active.
Yeah, the activity is key, I suppose, and it's not allowing me to kind of get out of shape in between fights. You know, I went on a family holiday, and was back in the gym a week later, so keeping active. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying boxing. I'm enjoying being back with the boys and being back in camp, which I've never really felt before. So yeah, it's exciting. I'm happy. I'm a professional boxer. I should be fighting at least 3 times a year. So I'm happy with how things are going at this point in time.
Let's talk about that. Your training camp, working under Jamie Moore. You guys seem to have struck up an instant relationship when you first worked together, and now it seems to be really blossoming and coming into your own together.
Yeah, just Jamie's a real likeable guy. Nigel Travis is mad as a hatter, really down to earth though, and a great guy. One of these, you know, salt of the earth boys. He'd do anything for you, and Jamie's the same. And everyone else in the gym, everyone's there to help out. There's no one there that thinks they're better than anyone else. So I'm enjoying the atmosphere in the gym. I'm enjoying training with the boys, and yeah, it's going good.
Your fight against Josh Warrington will be the last fight of the year for Jamie Moore, for your stable. Is there any additional pressure to finish the year on a good high? I mean, it's been a great year so far for the stable.
No, it's been a great year. There's no pressure on me to finish the year and make sure it has been a great year, but I intend to continue to go into new 2019 as world champion, finish this year as the champion, and Jimmy will be in a strong position again for trainer of the year next year, hopefully.
Now, one of your stablemates, Fielding, goes over to America in, I think, 4 weeks, 5 weeks to face Canelo-Alvarez. How's Rocky been looking in training?
He's been looking good, and Rocky's a big puncher, big guy as well, so it's going to be a difficult fight. We all understand that. Rocky's a big underdog. He knows that as well. Jamie knows it, but Rocky's a puncher, and a puncher always has a chance, and they'll be sleeping on Big Rocky, because the size difference is huge. Like it's almost like it looked like some sort of comedy act. Them standing beside each other at the head-to-head in New York. Rocky's a big super middleweight. Canelo is a small man for super middleweight, and that could be the difference. You know, we know Canelo's a favourite. Everyone knows it, but Big Rocky's a puncher, and he has a chance.
I mean, you're somebody who's boxed all around the world in big fights. You've headlined in Las Vegas, you've boxed in New York. This will be the first time that Rocky has experienced that. Has he kind of picked your brains for little bits of information of what to expect and prepare for fighting out there?
Not really. Rocky's been involved in some of his own big fights as well. So I was talking to him a little bit about the New York Commission, because I was there with Santa Cruz, and they're very strict commission. And in the change rooms, there's different things that you can't get away with. In New York, you can maybe get away with in other places. So very strict organisation. That's all really I've been telling him. But Rocky's his own man. He's been involved in big fights. He knows what to do. He's running a good team. So I don't need to tell him too much.
Your former opponent, Nanisa Denay, I was in Glasgow last week, or it was the week before. Sorry, I'm very tired. The week before in Glasgow, become world champion again at bantamweight. Just wondered if you caught his fight with Ryan Burnett.
Yeah, I did. I watched it. Disappointing the way that he won the fight, and disappointed for Ryan obviously, but Nonito looked scary again down at bantamweight. He looked like the old Nonito Donaire, and I knew, we spoke about it in the change rooms after the fight, he's not a featherweight, and he knows that. I knew it as well. I think my strength was the difference on the night. I felt like I could push him around, but certainly as a puncher, one of the hardest punchers I fought. But he looked pretty frightening again down at bantamweight. So, disappointed for Ryan, but I'd love to see Nonito go on and win the whole thing. Obviously, I knew he's still a big favourite, but I'd love to see Nonito cause another few upsets.
Also in action on that night was your old stablemate and friend Josh Taylor. Sparkling performance as he stopped Ryan Martin. What did you make of Josh Taylor's win?
Quality performance, and I've seen Josh Taylor for a long time. I've seen him, when he just turned pro. What a fighter! Brilliant pedigree, but he can really fight. Special talent, and I think it's going to be difficult. I think it looks like. Am I saying it right? Progrès, is that it? Progrès, yeah. I think it'll be them two in the final. Difficult fight for both guys, but I fancy Hank. I think he'll do the business.
Hank, indeed. You've seen a lot of Josh. It was a spectacular performance, probably career best performance. But how much more do you think there is still to come from him?
So much. Look, he's only had 15 fights or something like that. So he's still constantly improving. I think he'll be a world champion in his next fight. Difficult fight, the next one. A lot more disappointed in Ryan Martin. He's just like give up almost. It was like didn't want to win, but I think this next fight will be difficult, but he'll win the fight.
Just moving back to your fight, obviously it's very, very publicised the fact that it's going to be clashing with Whyte-Chisora. It's not actually the first time this has happened to you. You had the Amir Khan fight on the same night as you boxed Nonito Donaire, I believe. Just your thoughts on that?
Disappointed. I don't think it does boxing any good. Don't think it does anyone any good, really. Everyone's losing out apart from Eddie Hearn's ego, if I'm being honest, because I'm not daft. The heavyweights will do a lot more buys than me and Josh, and he can say on the 23rd of December I done more buys than Frank Warren, and that's really all it is. It's ego driven. Although the heavyweights will do more buys than us, they'll be losing out. We'll steal some of their buys off them, so they'll not get as well paid as they could have done it on a different night. And we certainly won't either, so no win for anyone. Boxing fans don't win because they'll have to fork out for 2 or 1 and have to choose. I just don't think there's any need for it. But again, I think it's ego driven.
Manchester Arena, we were there this past weekend with Alexander Usyk versus Tony Bellew. Just wondered if you saw that fight.
Yeah, I did. I watched it, and Usyk, quality fighter. Big Tony done well, and wasn't how I seen the fight going. I was almost shocked that he won the first 3 rounds. I think a lot of people were, but Tony boxed brilliantly the first sort of quarter of the fight. But Usyk's pressure with his feet, although he was losing the rounds, I think that was key, and you could see Tony starting to wilt as the fight went on a bit. So it was a brilliant performance from Usyk. But Big Tony should be proud of a career that he's had. He's been a world champion. He's had his highs and his lows, and he's been beaten. He's got back up and he's won. He's been a world champion. He's beat David Haye twice. He's fought in pay-per-view. He fought against Usyk, one of the pound-for-pound greats around at the minute. He's fought at Goodison. He's also, what else has Tony done? He's done a lot. He's been in Iraqi. Yeah, he's been in Iraqi, and he's one of the best pundits on TV. So I think he's a job for life, sort of, for when he does hang him up, which I think he has done now. So fantastic career. Credit to Tony. Love the big man, and good luck for the future.
Yeah, that's very well said. Obviously, the fight was at Manchester Arena. You're somebody who's boxed there before when you fought against Scott Quigg. You return there December the 22nd. You and Josh Warrington have some fan base between you. Going to be quite the atmosphere on the 22nd.
Yeah, I think it will be. He's a passionate, noisy fan base, and likewise, I have a noisy fan base, and it's going to be a good night. Really believe that. I think it's going to be a special night. I think as the fight goes on, my fans will take over because I'll be in front, and it's going to be very atmospheric.
You boxed in your dream venue last time. You boxed at Windsor Park. Is there any regret that this fight isn't at Windsor Park?
No, not really. I've done that. I wanted to fight at Windsor for a world title, but that wasn't to be. Not a lot I could do about that, or Frank or MTK. There was no one really available at the time, but I'd like to do it again. It's not a necessity because I have done it, but I would like one more crack at Windsor. But if it doesn't come off, so be it. As long as I win a world title back, which I plan to do here against Josh Warrington in December, I'll be a happy man.
Okay, and just finally, it's something that I've spoken to you about in the past. Obviously, your your highly anticipated third fight, if it does happen, with Leo Santa Cruz, or a potential bout with Gary Russell or Oscar Valdez. Are those the fights that you're looking at in 2019, all being well?
Yeah, I beat Warrington. I want to fight a champion. No one else appeals to me, so it'll be one of the three. Hopefully, Santa Cruz, Valdez, Gary Russell Jr. And we'll see, but I have to beat this guy first.
Okay, well, Carl Frampton, always a pleasure catching up with you. Look forward to seeing you in action on December the 22nd.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, Carl.